Hello everybody, welcome to my video on Horizon Forbidden West. This video has taken a long time in coming, and I must admit it's because originally I was not overly impressed. I will get into why in a bit, but let's do a bit of the detail first. This game released on the 18th of February 2022. Was a PS4 and PS5 exclusive and released on the PC March this year. That's 2024 for those who are interested. Now, let's cover off why I was disappointed initially. I was a massive fan of Horizon Zero Dawn. It's probably one of my favourite story-driven games to date. Probably only just been overtaken by Ghost of Tsushima, if I'm being honest. And if you want to see my reasons for that and my comparison to other Japanese games against Ghost of Tsushima, then I do have a video. I will try and remember to link it in the description. But if not, it is available on my channel. But as I was saying, Zero Dawn was by far my favourite story-driven game until that, and part of that was because of the way the story was told. It was the combination of the music, the story, just the actual premise of the game, everything, for some reason just really resonated with me. And I kind of knew that Forbidden West had a really hard challenge to meet up to those expectations, and I don't know what I was expecting, but I guess that my expectations were just a little bit warped because of coming straight off the back of finishing Zero Dawn in essence. Suffice to say that I didn't give this game enough chance. I'm not going to say this story is as good as Zero Dawn because I haven't yet finished it, but the fact that the end of Zero Dawn kind of left it on a cliffhanger, and this tried to pick up from that cliffhanger. I kind of think because the character was already established, that was part of why it didn't have quite the same impact. In Zero Dawn you started as a very young Aloy, you started as a child, and you got to know the character from a very, how should I say, innocent individual to kind of a powerhouse of a machine hunter. In this you start out as that powerhouse, and I guess it's the fact that realistically you should be ridiculously strong and powerful, and because of the kind of system and the fact it is ARPG light, you kind of can't be that powerful. I don't know, it just kind of gave me a bit of a wrong impression to begin with. But anyway, let's get past that now. My initial impressions of the game were, unfortunately, I think marred by the fact I was more interested in other games at the time and Zero Dawn. But now I'm giving this another try, and I must be honest, I gave this another try because of my experiences with Ghost of Tsushima. I went back to that after a long time and it just drew me in and I couldn't put it down. And I'm kind of the same with Forbidden West now. I can't put it down. I have recently started playing Diablo Season 4, but I'm kind of doing a couple of minutes or an hour maximum in that and then coming back to Forbidden West. So it's definitely drawn me in more than it did when I first started playing. It may have just been the time of my gaming career, my gaming life, that I was more interested in multiplayer than single player. It's possibly something as stupid as that. But what can we expect from Forbidden West? Now, I think you can see on screen that this is an absolutely beautiful game. Zero Dawn was the pinnacle of graphics at the time. Forbidden West is also the pinnacle of graphics. There was a very controversial discussion about Aloy's appearance, because from the tech demo of Forbidden West to the final release, Aloy's face did change. They made it more rounder. They just changed the the actual structure of the face. I believe their argument was to make it more realistic. I think people said that it just made her look less attractive. To be honest, it's a character in a game. I'm not overly fussed. I don't look at her face very much anyway, apart from in cutscenes. And to be honest, it just looks like a face. I'm not a big proponent of it's got to look like the best looking person in the world all the time. They haven't made the character ridiculous, so that to me is a win. They do try and do that in a lot of games. In fact, I think in one game they tried to make the character that was already established in other media. They tried to make her obese, and things like that I do disagree with. Just changing the facial structure of a character between the first and second game, I don't think there is too much of a problem with that, simply because, let's face it, A, people's faces do change as they grow up, but B, technologies allow more realistic faces, so of course they change. Just look at the original version of Lara Croft to the new version in the latest games. Completely different. Even when they went to quite high level, high detail graphics when it moved to the PS3 version, it's still no comparison to what they can do on PS3, PS4. So it's going to happen. That's all I'm going to say on the character. As far as the actual world is concerned, the level of detail that they get into these games on a console, and look, I know consoles are as powerful as they've ever been, but they still are not going to hold a candle to PC. That doesn't mean that I think PC is a better gaming platform, because I honestly don't. I do have a gaming PC and hardly ever use it, because it's not dedicated to that task. It's always going to be something that you can install Office software on, or something like that. Games that are developed and designed for console manage to get some graphical power out of it that you could not achieve with a similarly spec'd PC, and that's purely because they are optimized to work 100% on the console. That's not to say that cross-platform games have the same impact. So if you get a cross-platform game that's on PC, PlayStation and Xbox, you do sometimes find that the console version is less graphically impressive because they've had to optimize it for two different systems. Of course, it's not going to be as good. Suffice us to say, what I'm trying to say is graphically this game is immense. Absolutely beautiful. I would say it's slightly better than Ghost of Tsushima, but in a different way. So for example, Ghost of Tsushima is brilliant in as far as it doesn't clutter your screen with directional icons, with a map or anything like that. The wind is your direction, so it kind of looks quite nice. Now, the fact that you have your head-up display in this game is explained in the lore, and I think that does mean it's a little bit more acceptable to have a compass at the top and your skills and health bar and everything else listed, because your focus is giving you a tactical overlay. Okay, that makes sense. It also does bring that sci-fi and tribal feel really to the fore, and that's where this game does differ from any other on the market. I played quite a bit of Far Cry Primal recently, and it kind of has a first-person feel similar to this, apart from no robot dinosaurs, of course. But again, it didn't really have the impact. The story was quite good, but it didn't have the impact of this game. So what's the purpose of this video? Well, the purpose of this video is for me to say I apologise for not getting it out sooner. I think that Horizon Forbidden West is an amazing game. I really am getting into it. It's got all of the things that you found in Horizon Zero Dawn, improved in many cases, made better looking in many cases, and when it really comes down to it, we can't really expect more from a sequel. Trying to find a sequel where the story is better than the original is extremely difficult. Usually they just expand on what's already been done, and that's exactly what this game is doing. There are certain things that I think could have been different, could have been done better, in my opinion. But again, other people's better is going to be different to mine. So the devs have done exactly what they should have done. They expanded on the existing story. They've made it look better. They've made it sound better. They've made it run better. We now have, I believe, a 120 frames per second mode, which I think this game is currently running. So this is not a 4K launch of a video, unfortunately, because the PlayStation can't record 4K at 120 for its video capture. It can only do 1080p 120 for video capture, which is fair enough. What's my takeaway? My takeaway is, if you haven't played Zero Dawn, play it first, because it does explain a lot of the things that happen in this game. When you do watch Zero Dawn first, don't expect the Forbidden West story to capture you as soon as you start playing it. Simply because the finale for Zero Dawn is so intense that I don't think anything could ever carry on from that at the same intensity. So you are kind of left wanting that intensity to carry on, but you're kind of drawn into a standard slow burning story again. It's not to say it's not going to ramp up at the end. I don't know, I've not got there, but I can see it happening. But yeah, play Zero Dawn first, then come on to Forbidden West. We have some new enemy types, both human and machine. We have some new weapon types. We have new armors, etc. Unfortunately, you can't transfer saves. It would have been really good if you could have transferred your Zero Dawn save to your Forbidden West so that you could keep all of your armor, etc. But again, as I said earlier, that would make you, unfortunately, a little too powerful for the type of game this is. It would put you at a huge advantage over anyone else who didn't play the first game, for example. So they have started this as a very standalone story. I still think you should play Zero Dawn first, just so you're aware of who the characters are, etc. To me, it makes much more sense. So final takeaway, definitely brilliant game. Amazingly put together. So far I've experienced no bugs. It looks amazing, it sounds amazing. The story is really good, although not as good as Zero Dawn. And I would say facial animations and just the general interaction with NPCs really does tend to work. There's enough RPG elements here to keep people who like RPGs happy, although I do think you should be able to find loot as you go around, which you cannot do. You unlock weapons by buying them, you unlock armor by buying it. There's no loot drops at all. The only things you collect are enhancement items, so things that you can use to craft equipment. You can craft your own weapons, you can craft your own armor, or you can buy them, but there's no picking it up from the floor, which is a little bit disappointing. At the same time, I think that the RPG elements are good enough because you do have skill trees, you do have loot from chests, as I say, but it is just improvements. Traps as well, for example, and healing potions, you get all of that. But just the general presentation of these games, Zero Dawn and Forbidden West, are just on another level for a console game. God of War doesn't come close in my opinion. Ghost of Tsushima does, although even the presentation of characters and everything like that in Ghost of Tsushima isn't quite on par to this. It's only the story that enhances that and some of the gameplay mechanics. But gameplay wise, this is also amazing. I say there were no bugs, and then I remembered that you do sometimes get a bit of pop-in. You saw that just in that little cutscene there. The NPCs just seem to pop up on screen. You do have that occasionally happen, but nothing that really detracts from the game, in my opinion. But if you are looking for a perfect game, then good luck. I think you're probably still looking, because I don't know of one. But yeah, I'm going to leave the video there. I don't know what else I can say apart from... I'm not going to say I'm gushing, because I do think there are better games, Zero Dawn being one of them. And it's not better because of gameplay, it's just the story. But this is definitely worth putting in your gaming library. And again, I'm really sorry that I haven't done a video on this previously. It's been out for over 2.5 years now, and I should have done this as soon as it came out. In fact, I probably did on my old channel, but there we go. Thanks very much for watching, guys. I hope you found this entertaining, interesting, maybe even annoying. If you have, please make sure you do let me know down in the comments below. Click the like button if you have liked it. Click the dislike if you haven't. I mean, it does help me. So either is good. Also, if you dislike it, please let me know down in the comments why, and I will attempt to address it for future videos. Subscribe if you are new to the channel, or if you have been around for a while and haven't yet subscribed, then please make sure you do so. It really does help the channel. And I look forward to seeing you for my next video very soon. Also, let me know in the comments what you want that to be. You all take care. Bye for now.